Yes, guys. So today's session is on the auto scaling. When I say auto scaling, anybody can contribute to this. What is auto scaling?
Yeah, automatically scale up the EC2 or any instance. Automatically scale up when the load is increasing, or automatically scale down when load is decreasing.
Yeah. So when I say auto scaling, first of thing you need to make sure that thing auto scaling is not only for the EC2 instance. Auto scaling is the concept which is every environment is looking for nowadays. When I say auto, you can remove these two are different words, auto and scaling. When I talk about scaling, what is scaling? Scaling means basis on my requirement, my system will increase. My system or my web servers will increase. Let's say today I am saying I have one application that application I have developed using PHP. Okay, and MySQL database. I have deployed this application on one of the web server, and the load on application is 600 users by hour or by day, or you can say 6,000 users by day. This is fine. I have deployed one of the application on the web server, and that web server has 4 GB of RAM along with 128 GB of hard disk, and that is fine. That is completely fine as of now to serve 6,000 users. My application is working fine, although it is slow, but it is working fine with 6,000 users per day. But suddenly what happens, there is a more load on the system. It becomes 12,000 requests per day. In that case, what happens, my user will experience lot of latency, and sometimes they will also see the errors that web application is not working, 404 not found something, right? So what is the solution of it? The industry was facing this solution just before the cloud computing. It was not easy to scale up, not easy to scale down. When I say scale up and scale down, there are two types of scaling. Okay, one is horizontal scaling and one is vertical scaling. Okay, when I say horizontal scaling, that means there are two solutions of this problem, that whatever I discussed with you. You have one PHP application that you have deployed using MySQL database on one of the web server using Windows, 4 GB RAM and 120 GB hard disk. Okay, but suddenly, as I discussed, load increased. What are your options? Please let me know.
Horizontal or vertical, anything. Anything can do.
No, forget about the horizontal and vertical. In the layman term, if I talk about I have this load 6,000, I have to increase this load. What a option I have in the layman terms?
Add more resources like RAM and CPU or hard disk.
Or
Yes. Add more resources. Yes. What is next option? Like RAM slash hard disk. What else?
Or we can add a load balancer to distribute the traffic.
No. Load balancer is not a solution for that case, because loads, ultimately, if you don't have the resources, you need to gain resources, right? First, before
okay,
going to the load balancer.
we can
Yeah.
add another what's called
Yes,
another
exactly.
computer.
Add one more instance. So there are two things only. One is add more resources like RAM and hard disk. This will become your vertical scaling. When I say vertical scaling, in that case, you need to change your entire infrastructure first then you will gradually move to the new system. That's how you will work on the vertical scaling. But because ultimately what will happen, server IP will get changed, server configuration will change, everything will be changed in that case. In that case, it is vertical scaling. But the other option, like Sagar said, we can introduce load balancer. But load balancer we can introduce, that is right step, introduce load balancer. But that we can do once we have more capacity, and that we can do using one more instance, and that will be your horizontal scaling. So if anybody is asking you what type of scaling we have two types of scaling. One is vertical, one is horizontal. When I say horizontal, that means you have one machine, and like this you want to add more instances, like 4 machines I have added, 5 machines I have added in that case. But when you go with the vertical, vertical means this machine has 4 GB RAM, 128 GB of hard disk. In that case, I am creating another instance which is 16 GB of RAM and 512 GB of hard disk. This is my vertical scaling. This is my horizontal scaling. Got it?
Yeah.
Now, if I am an interviewer, I am asking one question to you: which scaling AWS use?
Both.
Horizontal or vertical?
Both.
We have a both.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can work it, depend on the requirement or the situation.
So is it possible that we can use vertical scaling in EC2?
I don't think so. Like horizontal will be available because like we need to create
Yes.
instances, right? And we need to copy the instance and all. I think it will scale up and scale down depending on the resources. Like if RAM is needed, it will add automatically RAM and hard disk and CPU maybe. I don't know, but that is my guess.
No. The answer would be most of the time EC2 works on the horizontal scaling.
Mhm.
Most of the time horizontally scaling will work in the case of EC2. But when I talk about RDS, when I talk about DynamoDB, internally they do vertical scaling as well. But they will never let you know what type of scaling we are doing internally. But most of the part we are going to cover today, that will be related to the horizontal scaling only. Although vertical scaling you can do, but vertical scaling would be manual effort for you,
Mhm.
because you need to do a lot of things. You need to remove the elastic IP and a lot of things. Otherwise, it will be always benefit for the to go with the horizontal scaling.
So how
So
that it is like something automatically get and then get
yes, that we are
listed.
going to do in the practical. Don't worry.
No, the thing is also like in the code, if you write a code and there is a garbage collector, it collect the memories which is not used and those kind of things. So it is something like that concept in what?
Something like that. We have to create a template, and basis on the template, if load is increasing, the same machine get added into the system.
Okay.
That's how you can understand.
Mhm.
So you just go with this thing. What is auto scaling? We have two types of scaling, horizontal and vertical scaling. But this is very, very important. When I talk about this part, this is very important. Most of the time, we do use dynamic scaling. But if somebody is asking a question, how many types of scaling options we have in AWS? Answer would be manual scaling, dynamic scaling, predictive scaling, and schedule scaling. We will discuss in detail what is, but by the name you can guess what is this. So this is auto scaling that we already discussed. What happens if user is getting the error? This user will get this error. The server did not respond. Retry. This I already explained, because there are two types of scaling. One is horizontal auto scaling. This is vertical auto scaling. Just understand with this example. In the case of vertical auto scaling, this machine size is increasing. When size in increasing, That means RAM and configurations, hard disk, other parts are also increasing. But in the case of horizontal scaling, this will be same. Okay. Then type of scaling again. In the type of scaling, we have further categories as well. Like in the case of manual scaling, this is very easy scaling. Dynamic scaling has further options that I'm going to discuss with the practicals. Benefit of auto scaling, this is lower cost, automation, reliable, performance level, improved fault tolerance, and service availability. So can anybody explain what is fault tolerance or how it is doing the automation, how it is giving benefit for the lower cost?
We can say
there is any issue with the infrastructure, so automatically it provides the other availability zones.
Okay. Let me, yeah, explain you this scenario. Okay. What auto scaling say, I will explain now in very detail. This is AWS infrastructure. Okay. And this is your VPC part. This is VPC. First of the thing, most of the interview asked this question that auto scaling relates to multiple regions or single region. In that case, your answer would be single region. Always and always secure, like if you see this auto scaling, always auto scaling works on the region wise. This you need to see Northern Virginia, but if I do select auto scaling group, you will see this option is still selected. When I say this option is still selected, I can talk about the services which is not region specific. If I go to S3 and go to this service of AWS, you will never ever see this location drop box. This will be showing as global. So that shows this service auto scaling is region specific. If you are creating one auto scaling group in one region, that is not going to work in another region. Got it?
but how we can do it by VPC peering?
By using Route 53, we need to club multiple load balancer and we need to use Route 53 in that case. We will redirect the request.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So as of now, what I'm doing, I'm explaining you, this is my VPC. Today, what I'm doing, I'm saying I have this machine, okay, and I have another machine. This is okay. These are, you can say, 4 core machine. Let me reduce it from 8. This is 4 CPU and 16 GB of RAM. This instance is similar, 4 CPU and 16 GB of RAM. This is my web application. This is my web application. Okay. I am giving traffic to these applications which are hosted on this EC2 instances. One by one request is coming using load balancer or anything. Okay. But suddenly I do feel in certain scenarios, this capacity will not be enough. What can I do? Like I said, we can use auto scaling. we can use auto scaling. When I say auto scaling, AWS says, if you want to use auto scaling, do let me know two things. AWS says, do let me know two things. One is configuration and define the load. Two things. For configuration, AWS says you can use template configuration, or if you go to this part, you can use to launch configurations and launch templates. This is not launch template and launch configuration. Launch temp types, templates and configuration. Launch configuration. AWS says, please give me configuration. Basis on that, I will create a machine. In the last session, I told you that you can define your configuration in launch template or launch configuration. AWS says you have two options to define whatever you are looking for. If you say, I am looking for 8 GB of machine, if my load increase, that type of things you can define in launch template and launch configuration. Got it? Second, AWS says also define the load for me. Give me that figure. Basis on that, I can increase the system load. You are saying if my web server loads increase or my web server CPU usage goes beyond 60%, please add more machine. Okay, so that type of thing you can do using AWS auto scaling group policy. Okay, got it? Two things AWS is looking from you. One is configuration. Second, AWS says, please let me know the load of the system. And load we can define anyway. This is one of the way. I told you CPU usage is one of the way, but I cover this in the more granular way when I go to practical. But if I go back to this part, with this you can understand the examples of benefits of auto scaling. This helps in lower cost. This helps in automation. When I say lower cost, understand with the example. Like today I'm saying I need two machines, and that is fine, but I am increasing load on it using configuration or auto scaling group. My 5 instances are now working. Okay, this is again for CPU and 16 GB of RAM. Again, same thing happened with this server and this server also. 5 server I have. But now I do feel some of the time in the night, what happens, my system load decrease every night. What you want to get done by AWS, you says please decrease these instances in case my usage less than 60%. Please decrease these instances. So that is the advantage. If you go with this, that way you can say to the interviewer, like, this helps in lower cost. Why? Because if I am sleeping and in the meantime there's no load on the system, AWS will never ask from to me or basically decrease the instances automatically. That part is also part of the configuration and defining the load, that please decrease my instances. Automation. This is kind of automation, right? I am sleeping or I am out of office, but suddenly my system is load is increasing in In that case, there is no need of any server administrator. There is no need to do anything in the load balancer. Automatically, AWS will add more system for you. Reliable performance level. This helps in performance levels. Improved fault tolerance and service availability. What do we have fault tolerance? Anyone can help? Fault tolerance.
I think maybe it's called connection error or something. Maybe the time of scaling is maybe cover, right?
Yeah, when I say fault tolerance, fault tolerance means, let's suppose this, with this example, 5 instances were working fine, but suddenly what happened? 5 instances were working. Okay, got this example. 5 instances were working, but suddenly one machine goes crash. In that case, auto scaling help in, because AWS will see I need a 5 instances, but I am, as of now there is only 4 instance. So without asking to you, AWS will create a machine for you automatically. That is the reason it says the fault tolerance is improved. When I say fault tolerance, that machine, that means how much time was, how much was the total time where business was impacted, and that should be very minimal part. Like if I'm saying I was using one of the application, guys, Amazon, where a lot of load, where multiple millions of users are using that application. In that case, fault tolerance is kind of thing. One machine is not working, AWS is automatically remove that machine and add a new machine on it automatically. I believe you're getting all these things, right? But I will do the practical first. Just skip this part because I really don't like these slides. Let me do one practical for you. Then you will able to relate better on that part. So what I will do, I will first create steps. I am telling, I am creating AWS auto scaling feature. Okay. My first step would be I will create launch template. My step 2 would be, my step 2 would be create a policy with minimum web servers. Simple. I will do this. For this, I need to do, first I need to create a launch template. I'll go to launch template. I'll create one template. I will name it my, which application I'm saying, PIS application app scaling. Yes, app scaling group. Version I'm giving 1.0.0.0. Nothing I'm changing, but I'm saying I'm looking for Windows 2019 base. Select on it and I'm giving subnet key pair name. I'm saying I'm creating a new key pair. PIS app pair. Create new pair. Who don't know about the key pair? In the last session, I explained that. Subnet. I'm choosing this subnet. But do you know why I'm choosing this subnet?
Yeah, because it's public.
Mhm. Why I'm choosing this subnet? Okay, I will explain that part also. I'm not choosing firewall here. I'm giving 30 GB as a configuration that I'm looking for 30 GB of machine. I'm creating this template.
Jitesh, one short question. So
Yeah, yeah.
autoscaling need to submit, right?
No. That is again the interview question. The maximum number of subnet you can have would be very good for you. A maximum.
But minimum is two, right? Minimum is two.
Minimum is by default 2.
Because
Because every AWS has two availability zone by default.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
But one of the thing you need to understand here, this, if I talk about North Virginia, this has 5 to 6 regions, 5 to 6 availability zones.
Yeah, I understand this. Yeah.
When I will create my auto scaling group, I will give a point on this because that is very important question in the interviews. But in short, the maximum number of availability zone you are choosing, the maximum, or I would say the good design you are giving to the company. Highly scalable design. This is subnet.
Ritesh,
Yeah.
the region I got it. What do you mean by different availability zone, 6 zone or 3 zone?
Yeah, I will explain on that. Give me just 5 minutes.
Sure.
That as of moment, I'm creating a launch template.
Mm-hmm.
When I will be creating a auto scaling group, in that I will explain what is the meaning of adding 2 subnet or 3 subnets.
Okay.
This at the moment I am creating a launch template because every time what I am saying, I would be looking for this configuration of machine. This is my launch template. Okay. Now what I will do, I'll go to auto scaling group. Once I go to auto scaling group, it will ask me to create a first auto scaling group. What I am giving as a name, BIS auto scaling group. Here, like I told you, there are 2 options. One is launch template. Using launch template, you can create. Other is launch configuration. But I'm going with launch template. Okay. So switch to, if you click on switch to launch configuration, you will find options here. But I'll switch to launch template. I'm getting this options. So this one I have created, BIS app scaling group. Okay. Now it is giving same thing. This is a description, launch template, instance type. Instance type, I missed it, right? Okay. Can I direct go to launch template? I missed that part. Let me again create PIY template. Otherwise, I need to do extra thing 1020. I'm giving as Windows 2019 base. And instance type I am considering as t2.micro. Let's go with at least 1 GB of RAM. t2.micro. Okay. Keep here I'm creating new test key pp, create new pair. Okay, network setting I am choosing as a don't include in the launch template as of now, just skipping that part this time, and click on create launch template. Now I go to auto scaling group. Creating auto scaling group, I am giving PIY auto scaling group. Click on the others and just choose which PIY template. Yeah, t2.micro instance I am looking for. Next, here it is asking for VPC. VPC should be selected by default VPC, but I have my own VPC as well. But because we never covered VPC part, I will cover in the separate session. As of now, we need to work with the default VPC. So under that VPC, if you see, these are the subnets. These are the subnets. Like I explained you one of the scenario, like this is AWS region. Sagar, you ask question, this right, AWS region. Let's suppose this is Mumbai region or Singapore region. So what happened by default? AWS create 3 availability zone in one region by default, but many of regions are still there who has 2 availability zone. When I say 2 availability zone, this is AZ1, this is AZ2, this is AZ3. Most of the regions have 3 data centers. You can also write this as data centers. Got it? What happens if your one data center is going down? That means your entire applications are being down. That is the reason when I'm going to create a auto scaling group, it is giving me option which subnet you want to add. Which subnet you want to add. I am saying I want to add this, also this, also this, also this, and fifth one also. Why I'm adding all the 5? The reason being is, if I am saying AWS, please create 60 instances for me, then AWS will make sure AWS is creating instances alternatively, like few instances in AZ1, few in AZ2, few in AZ3, like 10 instances AWS created, or 20, you can say 20 here, 20 here, 20 here. But if I talk about my this scenario, if I am creating a EC2 instance, I will let AWS know I want to create this instance in this subnet. When I say this subnet, that means if I talk about this thing, for the Northern Virginia, they have 5 availability zone. That is why they are giving 5 subnet. One subnet is equal to 1 availability zone. And I am saying AWS, whenever you are creating a auto scaling group policy for me and you are opening one instance, please make sure you distribute the load on different availability zone. The benefit of doing this activity is, if your one availability zone is going down, still you have machines, multiple machines to serve the data. This is a little complicated. If you didn't get, please let me know.
So kind of it is a recovery servers kind of thing.
No.
Means like one availability zone is available, then second availability zone will serve the request, or
Right. This is like this.
It is like clustering high availability actually.
Yes. This is very common example. Like if I'm saying, just don't forget about auto scaling and all. Why cloud is exist in the market? Why? The reason is very simple. AWS is what they are doing basically. They always say your data cannot be lost on the cloud. Your data cannot be lost. Why they are claiming this? They say highly available, 99.99999. They say very highly available. Why? The reason is they say if I am in India, okay, I'm in India, I'm in Mumbai, I will create 3 data center. One is probably in Pune, one is probably in Bangalore location, okay, one is in another location, or suppose Delhi, okay. So what will happen? Internally, they will connect these availability zones, but they will make sure whatever you are storing in the Pune data center, that will also create a copy at Bangalore, that will also create a copy of Delhi data center. But if Pune data center is under the flood or earthquake or something, entire data center is down, but still your application is up using Bangalore and Delhi center. And that is the beauty that I am giving to you, AWS. Whenever you will create an instance for me, please choose all of this. All of this is not possible with the one instance, but go one by one. You know round robin algorithm? Round robin,
Round
one
robin.
by one.
Yep.
Yeah, one by one means if AWS says that I have to create one instance, first AWS will choose this configuration, US East 1A. If you say another, create another instance, let's understand with this example. If this is your load, okay, AWS by using the auto scaling policy, AWS realize that you need to add more instances. AWS needs to add more instances. You already have, let's suppose, 5 instances. Okay, you already have 5 instances. Application is working, but suddenly AWS realize you need to add more instances. AWS will automatically add that. But where we are giving option as 5 options. So AWS will create 1A, second, then again AWS feel I need to create one more. AWS will create another in another subnet. Then AWS will create third in another subnet. That way you can say my application design is very scalable and very less fault tolerance. That means if entire data center is going on risk, still my application is not on the risk.
But you said cost effective. So if I create chose multiple subnet, they will charge extra for us.
No. They are going. No, they are not going to charge extra for the availability zone because this is the part of region, and in the region, pricing is not differentiate on the region specific. Pricing is different on the only on region specific part, not on the availability zone.
So it's a nice idea to select multiple subnet.
Yes, that's the reason if I am going for the interview and somebody is asking for how many availability zone and subnet you need to choose for the best design, I would say the maximum number of options I have, that will be good for me. Because that way you are reducing the load, you are removing the dependency.
You are talking about auto default. Okay, right now we have a VPC. So what can I do? Because we have no option. In BPC, we can create, if I create subnet, it has to be, what's called, static IP. This what the name I forgotten. Elastic IP. So
Yeah.
elastic IP has a cost. So what will be for BPC? Because you are talking about default subnet.
Yeah, in that case also you have the option of creating a subnet, right? In your VPC you can create multiple subnets. That we are also going to discuss in the next session.
Okay, got it.
But as of now, any questions, because this is a little tricky, and why I'm choosing this, I can do like this also. This is also fine, 2 subnets, but I am going with best. I'm going with 5 out of 5. Any questions till now? No questions. Okay. What we are doing, you got the idea, right? What we are doing. This, yeah, this step I am creating, and I will make sure that there will be minimum of 2 instances are running at any moment of time. Click on next.
Yes, sir. For each subnet, how many instances will open?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
For each of the subnet, is it going to launch instances?
Your voice is bit low. I'm not able to hear you well.
So for each subnet, is it going to launch instances?
No, inside that availability zone, we are going to introduce EC2 instances. Can you post your question in the chat? I'll try to answer that. As of now, I'm not using load balancing because that is the thing we are going to cover tomorrow on the load balancing. I am saying no load balancer. And health check. This is very, very important. Health check grace period. Health check grace period. Let's say today, what I feel, there are 2 instances, okay, but suddenly the spike is coming. When I say spike is coming, just understand with this example, this was the 2 servers, okay, which was running in the background, and suddenly what happens, this CPU usage is going beyond 70% also for this CPU. I need to add more instances, but there is a property, health check grace period. The amount of time until EC2 auto-scaling perform the first health check on new EC2 instances. What I feel, this is 70%, this is 70%. AWS says, I am creating a new instance for you. Okay. And I am giving 70-70 and giving some load to this system. In that case, it would become 20-20 or something like 40% on the system. Okay, but what will happen? AWS still feel that load is high and I need to add more instances. But using that property, you are saying to AWS that please wait at least 300 seconds. Otherwise, AWS will start instancing very, very frequently. If you say it, just keep it 100. In the 100 seconds, there is no guarantee your EC2 machine will be up. So make sure you are using this 300. When I say 300 seconds, that means AWS will wait for 5 minutes to again introduce a EC2 machine. I hope it is clear.
So Ritesh, CPU usage is the only parameter which
No, no, no,
decides. Okay.
no. It is one of the parameters.
Then
That
what are
also
the
we are,
others?
yeah, I'm going to discuss that on part.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Any question on the health check grace period? Taking it as a
As I
load.
understand, you said
Yeah.
AWS will, if I give the grace period or the checking period is 300 second, after 70%, AWS will wait 5 minutes or.
No, no, no. Just understand with this example, might be, let me open another paint. I am saying today I have one application that is same application using PHP and all. Okay. And that application is deployed on 3 servers, 1, 2, and 3. Suddenly load increase. Okay. And AWS added one more instance. Okay. But you are saying to AWS, you have already added an instance. Now, before adding one more instance, please wait for 5 minutes.
Oh, okay,
And
got
that
it.
is the property you are setting here.
Otherwise, it will just
Yes, that is my
frequently
point.
make.
Otherwise, it will start adding your instances so frequently.
I got it. Got it. Thank you.
So this is the property, health check grace period. So ideally it should be 300 seconds.
Okay.
Now going next, this is super critical to understand. Desired capacity, minimum capacity, and the maximum capacity. I am saying my desired is 2, minimum is 2, but maximum can be 6. Just understand with this example. I am going this, okay. AWS introducing one more instance. AWS introducing 5th instance. Sorry, AWS is introducing one more instance. Now 6th instance. Now 7th. 7th is not possible. Why? Because you already said the maximum capacity is 6, but the desire is 2, and the minimum is 2. Yeah.
So if it is going to launch 16 instance, right? Is it going to wait for 300 seconds?
If it is,
so you said it is going to launch 16 instance.
no, what will happen that let's suppose this is your application. Okay, this is your application. You have this number of instances. 3 instances are working fine for you. At 9 p.m. sudden load is coming. AWS realize that we need to add one more machine. AWS will add one more machine. Okay, but now you are giving instruction to AWS. Now before adding another instance, please wait for 5 minutes. Otherwise, AWS will feel every minute this is the less load, this is the less load, and they keep on adding machines. Right?
Bro, actually, when the machine is start up, AWS thinking the rest 3 are also 70%. That's why it's creating again and again.
That might be a chances. If AWS creating a 5th instance, that might be a chances that machine is initialization state.
Yes.
Might be chances, right? So in that case, you are giving a direction to AWS, because creating a EC2 machine generally takes 2 to 3 minutes. If you are giving a new command to add another instance, ultimately what will happen, you need one machine, but ultimately you will be adding 2 extra machines if you are reducing that time. Sachin, it was for you. Was it you?
No, it is not from my.
Okay. Who asked this question? Is it clear or should I spend more time on it?
I think Karthik asked that question, and I think so that is the concept where we need to wait for some time to server get initialized and get up and running, and then again it will monitor for load, and if needed, it will create again one more instance. That is the concept, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I got it.
Still, if you have confusion, I can explain more on that part with a different example. Karthik,
Yeah, please proceed.
sorry,
Please proceed with the answer.
I'm not getting your voice very clear.
Your voice
Yeah,
is not
yes.
clear, Karthik, actually.
Is it clear now?
Somehow better.
Okay, okay. Ritesh, we proceed with the concept.
Now it is clear, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So now this understand in this example, what I'm saying, my desired capacity is 2, minimum capacity is also 2, maximum capacity is 6. Now you can ask me one question, on which basis I am defining this capacity? I
Yes,
don't
sir.
have any idea about this. To be frank, once your application is going live on the production, just basis on your experience or basis on the platform you are going to use, basis on that you will create a desired capacity. Okay, but I am going with minimum capacity as of now, 2, 2 and 6. This is the point.
But Ritesh, just small question. Like,
Yeah.
but we are not sure. Like after 6 also, if the application load is high, right? After 6 also,
In
there
that
will
case, you
not
need
be
to come and update it to 10,
correct.
or might be 15, or might be 20.
Okay. So it depends on the environment and the
Yeah.
capacity.
Why I am giving this maximum capacity? Because you can also ask this question, why I'm giving maximum capacity when I do have the privilege to open as many as instances? Why I'm giving maximum capacity here? Because I do have the privilege, I can open any number of instances based on the load. Why I'm giving maximum capacity? The
minimum
point is,
minimum has to be low, because otherwise they will charge us. This is the problem. Minimum capacity is important.
no, the point is why I'm giving maximum capacity. The minimum is fine. You are looking for 2 instances at least. Desire is 2. That is fine. Maximum, why I'm giving 20, or maximum why I'm giving 6?
Yeah, it's maybe my load is maybe after 6 it can get it can chance to for another need maybe another BM or SC2. So if I give 15, it will scaling up to 15.
Yeah, but why I'm giving 15? Why I have the option of maximum? That is my question. The option AWS is giving you because you are sure about your requirement. I'm sure that in the beginning phase of the project, we never realized that if I'm hosting this application for the first time, I will choose 8 GB and 512 GB of RAM, or might be 16 GB by default. But I realize I'm getting more errors in the application, latency, users are increasing. Okay, I can have an idea. Maximum it can go to, like, let's suppose 1000 requests are coming per day, and as per the client, it can maximum go to 1 or 10,000 in a day. It can go 10,000 in a day. In that case, I can assume I would be only needing maximum of 10 instances at any worst case even. That is the reason I am giving 10. But why I'm giving this 10 or maximum capacity? The reason is there can be hacker in your account who can come to your account and open as many as instances possible, because from the AWS there is no limitation that this number of instances you can open. If there is attack on your VPC, on your network, the entire, they can open multiple instances and billing cost would be very high. Second, AWS will also compromise, because you have asked, let's suppose 10,000 instances, and AWS is not able to give that instances to another customers. So that's why they have given the limitation also, the maximum capacity. Got it?
Yeah.
So I'm saying maximum in my case, it would be 6, but any moment of time you can change it. Just with the click, you can change it. Now coming to the Sonal question, target tracking policy. You ask on which parameters we can decide. So these are the parameters. This needs to be called metric type. I am scaling my machine. Average CPU utilization is 40%. But what other options I have? Average network in, average network out, application load balancer. These are the options. If you're sure you have this bytes calculation, you do the bytes calculation very well, you can go with average network in option as well. But I am most familiar with the CPU utilization and the application load balancer request count per target. Got it? So
Okay.
so these are the options, and that is again interview question. How many metric type we have in the load auto scaling group? I am seeing average CPU utilization. If it is increasing more than 40, then add a instance. Disable scaling to create only a scale out policy. When I say disable this, it means you have the load, like I explained you have two servers. Okay, you are saying to AWS, in case my requirements goes beyond this CPU utilization, please add one more instance. Okay, but if you are choosing this checkbox, AWS will never ever delete this instance, because there are two things in the policy. One is scale out, one is scale in. When you are saying you are extending your machine, extended your network with this, you are adding a lot of machines. That means it is scale out option. You are scale out. You are adding more machines. But when I say scale in, you are reducing this. Scale in. Got it? So that is the option. Are you only looking for scale out option? No, I'm not disabling it. I want scale in as well. Scale in means whenever the load is decreasing, my system also should decrease. Then go to next. Add notifications. I am skipping this part as of now, notifications, but I'll need to cover in the next few minutes. Click on next. Tags I'm not adding. Review. That's it. Now, if I click on create auto scaling group, what will happen? Who will tell me this? What will happen if I click on create auto scaling group? Now, what will happen? Any random guess?
Oh,
Group sharing. Yep.
it will ask create a template.
No. This time I have created a
Oh, okay.
auto scaling group,
Okay.
and auto scaling group says minimum capacity should be 2.
Oh, the two instance will be create actually.
Yes. Now if I go to instances, automatically there will be 2 instances created.
Yeah.
But I did not done anything for that, right? I just created a group. See, this is in pending state. If I refresh, after some time, you will see these instances are automatically running.
Now it is in running status.
Yeah, this is running automatically. Like status tag should be 2/2. But if I do one thing, let it be done first, then I'll do one thing. Any questions till now? This is little confusing, but you need to watch it this 2-3 times at least. Then you will be able to relate this auto scaling part.
Ritesh, you told about the maximum capacity for auto scaling.
Yeah.
And, there may be hacker or there may be a DODS attack and those kind of network traffic and all. So what is the how we can avoid that? Like if we have like a setup and there is a website, say go to my page .com whatever, and then hacker want to hack it and they want to create that script and they are just sending the fake traffic and taking the down the website. And if we have a 5 instance, 6 instance, 10 instance, still it may go down, right? The website will not respond to the actual user because of this fake traffic.
Yes, right. In that case, generally what happens that we need to create a rate. If I'm working with, if you're working with any of the API gateway tool, that
Mhm.
API gateway tool has the capacity to introduce this feature, rate limiting. If that rate limiting is going beyond that figure, you should uh, stop all the traffic from that machine.
Oh, okay.
You said
Otherwise,
API,
AWS,
API gateway, right? Yeah.
yeah, API gateway. But if you're not using API gateway, AWS give other tools options as well, like tracking the IP and all.
Got it.
So is
But
that
this is, to be
notification
very frank,
also?
it is not very easy thing. You need to write a lot of code and configurations change.
Is the in scaling the notification? Can we get a notification if we are reaching like a 10,000 user? Usually hit our website, but now it is 50,000 user. Can we add some kind of notification like?
Not like that, but what we can do, whenever an instance is being added, you will get a notification.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Now,
Thank
if you see, this has been checked pass. 2 instances are working. If I am deleting, by any chance, I am deleting this instance, go to terminate. Now what will happen?
Automatically create another one.
Yeah, AWS will create another instance automatically because you are shutting down. If you just refresh it, there will be 3 instances in a minute or two.
Yeah, within 5 minutes. They'll create.
No, that for
No,
that
not.
AWS will not wait for 5 minutes.
No, I understand. Sorry.
See, instance has been terminated, but this is pending. This start creating in the background. Why? Because in this auto scaling group, I have set this rule. I need at least 2 instances. Minimum I need 2. So AWS will always make sure if you don't have 2 instances, AWS will create it. Got it, guys?
Ritesh, is that data sharing happening between the
No, data
instances?
sharing you need to do.
Okay.
If you have some application where you want, like if I have one .NET application, and every time if one instance is being added, I need to copy some of the data, and I need to install the IAS. Then you need to create a AMI first, right? I told you in the last session. First you need to create a AMI. Using that AMI you need to create a machine, then you will copy your data to that web server, then it will come into the picture.
And how about
Ritesh,
station? Because like say two instances were running and now load is increased, the user are more logged in, but my user session will be on one server or it will redirect to the other server also my request next time after 5 minutes.
No, that part is done by the auto load balancing part that we
Okay.
are going to discuss tomorrow. But
Okay.
as of now, what I am doing is just adding a few instances.
Hmm.
Tomorrow, I will relate entire this practical with elastic load balancer.
Okay.
But as of now, I can
Ritesh,
do
I have
one.
one question. Ritesh,
Yes, yes, please ask. I'm not ignoring
yeah.
you.
So my question is like, if in case, unfortunately, just, I just, I want to stop the instance, but by mistakenly I just terminate the instance. So there is any way to recover this
No,
instance?
no,
All right.
there is no direct way to recover. Although there is a concept of rescue, but that will also not help you.
Thank you.
Now let me do one thing. Let me take a remote of this machine. I want to see auto scaling is happening or not. I want to see if load is being increased. I want to see the third server is being added or not. For that, what I will do, I will go to this instance. Okay, and let me check the security. Did I enable the port RDP? Otherwise, I need to open the port first. No, it won't. Okay, all traffic. I need to add rule. I'm adding one more rule, and that rule, why I'm adding this rule, for taking the RDP 339 to all of the systems. Save rules. That part we should do in the launch template as well, because otherwise I need to do on the instance by instance, right? 5.4 is done. This is the instance. Okay, I need to go to security. This is done. RTP is already done. Okay. Now I need to get a remote of that machine. Go to actions and click on password. Get password. Go to security and get Windows password, that we already done. But using the key I have created, go to downloads, and what was my key? Test key pp. I have decrypted the password. Let me just copy this password and paste to notepad. Okay, and close this instance. Go to second machine, security, get Windows password, And this is again one of the very good interview question. I am using the same key for decryption, but every time I'm getting a different password. So interview can ask you this question. I have created this two instances using launch template, but I am getting different password. Okay. So first of all, I will go to server one. Now this has been added. Why? Why I have 4 servers now? This is strange. Okay. See, AWS is adding one more instances, but as of now, the load is very less, even no load on the system. Let me run it. Let me just take a remote of this RTP client, download, and go to this machine and enter this password. Connect and okay. Yes. And let me also go to second machine, which is this machine. Go to connect RDP client, download remote, and go to this machine. Yes. There are two machines working, right? This is one, this is second. But I'm still curious to know why AWS added one more instance. As of now, 3 instances are working. Let me go to
Check the monitor actually. What's happening?
Scaling. Desire is 3.
Oh, that's why.
Did I make it 3 or 2? I am not sure. I set it to 2.
Maybe you added.
So that is the reason it is getting 3. So now 3 is stable. Okay. But what I'll do now, I'm going to one EC2. I will try to use maximum CPU utilization of this machine so that I can see there is one more instance is being added in this list automatically. What I'll do, this is a pathetic way, but I'm following to make sure we are using 100% CPU utilization. What I'm doing, I'm creating one file here, notepad file, text file. Basically, I'm writing a.bat and save. Okay. When I'm saving this file, I will save this file to desktop only. And all this I'm doing for the CPU utilization to reach after 40. This is I'm doing. But if you have another way, you can follow that. Save as to desktop, and I'm saying a.bat file I'm creating and all files. Click on save. That's it. Close this file and delete this file. Now what this file will do, this will create, this file will be, if this file is being invoked, it will be in loop. That will be a recursive file. And let me also create the same file in server 2.
Why need server 2? If you load.
Yeah, that is also fine. That is also fine. If I need to create in single, that is also fine. But for this, a dot ultimately we need to just increase the load on one of the system. A dot, I'm saving on the desktop and save. Just close it and delete this file. Now you have two servers login and two files are being created. Let me invoke this file at least 10-15 times so that our load can increase on the system. This is done for this server. Now go back to second. Now come back to auto scaling and see not auto scaling, EC2, if that is being added, new instance is being added. And let me check the CPU usage on this machine. Task manager. Performance CPU is 100% usage, right?
Yeah.
So now go back to EC2 window and see if there is being instance being added. As of now, no, but it will be added in some time. You need to wait for that. Automatically AWS will do for you. Also check on this machine. Task manager, more details, performance 100%. Yeah, it is more than 40% on both the machines. But AWS will auto initialize this.
No, because you have three, right?
Yeah.
So two machine is 100%, but another one is below 40%. So why it will scale up? Scale in.
That I need to because I have
Yeah,
created this
you
policy
get to
for
monitor.
two.
Here is a monitor
Yeah.
option. Here is a monitor. Click here and go down. Go down.
Yeah, I can understand. This is
Yeah, here monitor option. Go. Yeah. Look at there.
this is going more than 78%. But let me also do the same on third machine.
Yeah, you have to do third machine same thing. Then it will scale in.
First go to this security, get window password, because I have created this for two. Paste same password, close. So this one, which one I chose earlier? Launch time is 2019. This is the latest, right?
Yeah, I think it is showing 6 instance right there in that page.
Yeah, highest is 6. So how many created?
I think there is a page 1, page 2.
No, you can.
Nothing like that, right? But why it is the top instances 6 like in that?
Yeah, instances 6. Yeah, you maybe
It's
created.
maximum is 6.
Yeah, already created maybe.
Then why it is not showing in the list?
Yeah, can we expand it down? Expand down. We can check. Yeah, in middle, right side. Yeah, here. Yeah, created.
6 minutes after working.
Yeah, it's 6 created.
The
Yeah, I think we
maximum would
don't
be
need to
6.
do on the third also. I think it is already checked.
No, yeah, because when any machine get over 40%, it's automatically get another.
But do one thing, whenever you are doing this POC or learning, when you want to delete an instance, this instance will not get deleted from this option, terminate instance. Because whenever you are deleting, automatically new instance will come into the picture. First, you have to remove auto scaling group policy. Otherwise, it will keep on adding in your account. Billing will keep adding.
How you can stop that your A batch? It is keep on running recursive.
Yeah, because now this one is, you just need to close this instance and automatically go to it is calling it auto scaling group and delete this. First delete this, and then go to EC2 instances and delete your instances.
Okay.
Otherwise, you will be seeing huge bill every time you are deleting the instance. AWS will create the instance for you. That is the correct way. First, you need to delete the auto scaling group option. But like I told you, if you go with this, there are multiple options. Go with this: manual scaling, dynamic scaling, predictive scaling, and schedule scaling. Okay. So manual scaling is very simple. Like I'm saying, if I have two instances and I want to increase two more instances when load is coming more, that will be simple manual scaling. Or you can say this is done by the administrator, or I am available in the AWS network. I can do the scaling on whenever it is required. Dynamic scaling means if load is increasing on the EC2 machine or load balancer load is increasing, in that case you need to go with the dynamic scaling. But there is a scaling with the concept of predictive. When I say predictive scaling, it is automatically analysis. The analysis will be done by the AWS to make sure that how many usage of your instance is being on the day or on the weekly basis. AWS will create a pattern for you, and that AWS predictive scaling you can use. AWS will make sure that so there is a scenario. You have 4 EC2 instances, and using for 4 EC2 instances, you are doing one of the thing over the only the weekend. You are running one of the SSIS job, or you are running one of the Hadoop job. So what will happen in that case? AWS will analyze that pattern for a couple of weeks, and then over the weekend, AWS will create extra machines for you. And once your task is over, AWS will delete that machines. That is predictive scaling. Then we have schedule scaling. Schedule scaling means I need 2 EC2 instances every weekend for 4 hours. That type of scaling you can also do. Okay. But that all scalings will be part of once you create a auto scaling group. You will see these options: predictive scaling, schedule scaling. Any questions now? There is one more scaling: step scaling. Step scaling says that go step by step. Like if I say that if CPU utilization is 70%, please create one instance. If CPU utilization is 75%, please create two instances. Like this. That also possible. but you will get all the options where once you go to say auto scaling groups, click on create my PIC group scaling, which template I am using. Last one was which was DIY template, and click on next. I am choosing all the subnets. Okay, and next. No load balancer as of now. 300 is a default, that is okay. I am looking for 2 now. The minimum is also 2. The maximum would be 4 now. And tracking policy or none. No policy I am choosing. Scaling policy as a none. And this is the notification part. Also, we need to cover that. For that, what I am looking for, once AWS is adding any instance for me, I should get notified via the email. For this, I am going to use one of the service provided by AWS, that is SNS, Simple Notification Service. I will go to this service. Okay, I will create a subscriber list here. When I say subscriber list, this is something that you will be adding your email in the list. I am going to create a topic first. Create a topic. Which topic? FIFO, first in, first out, or standard? I am creating a standard. I am creating BIS topic just for the time being. I'm just copying it. Nothing I'm changing here. Create a topic. Simple. I'll go to subscription and add a subscription. When I go to subscription, it will ask me which protocol you want to use. I am saying email. So I am writing my email here. So the purpose of creating this topic is whenever anything is changing in the auto security group, AWS will trigger an email using SNS. And in SNS, we have to create a subscriptions. I am creating a subscription with bal.ratish@gmail.com. Create subscription. It is saying, go to this topic, and the subscription says this is pending confirmation. Go to your Gmail account where you have the account, or you whatever you provided from AWS. You will get this notification, AWS notification subscription confirmation. Just click on this, confirm subscription. Your subscription has been added. Close it, and now go to EC2. Okay, and click on add notification. So it is saying on which part you need a notification. I am saying I need a notification on every part, whether EC2 is being launched, terminate, fail to launch, fail to terminate, anything. Which SNS topic? As of now, you just need to refresh the screen. Go to next and add notification. This is the topic, PIS topic, bal.ratish@gmail.com. Now I am clicking on next, next, and create auto scaling group. Now automatically 2 instances will be created, like in the last time. You will see there will be 2 instances at least. This is terminated, ignore this, just see the pending part. This is pending. This is also pending. So these 2 instances are being created now. Forget about the terminated, because after the terminated, AWS keep showing after, because 15-20 minutes this will go away. As of now, 2 instances are being created. See, these 2 are running now. But when you go to this auto scaling group, you will get more options. You need to click checkmark this, checkbox this, and go to automatic scaling. When you go to automatic scaling, you will see a option of create dynamic scaling option. Also, second option you are seeing as create predictive scaling. When you create a predictive scaling, you will check, you will click this option, scale based on forecast. Okay, and the metric and target utilization, all these things you need to enter here. So basis on these figures, AWS will analyze and create a policy for you. So every weekend or every day, AWS will create instances based on that policy. Another option you have is predictive scaling. This is we have covered. Second is create schedule session. When I say scheduled sessions, it means you can say desired capacity is 2, minimum is 2, maximum is 10, but also you can give the recurrence. This is once or which time zone and the time you can set. On the 25th, I am looking for 2 instances. That is also done. So using that schedule action. So there are 4 types of scaling: manual, dynamic we covered, predictive we see, schedule, and manual scaling. Any questions? Else we have this lot of things to cover. Requirement we can skip. This is we can skip features. We can skip components. We have discussed scaling policies done. This is done. There is a concept of auto scaling rebalancing that I'm going to cover tomorrow, but I can tell you what is, yeah.
Ritesh, in real time, what will be the maximum capacity that is given?
No, this you can't define on the, this will be defined on the project to project level. In some instances I am working on where we need to set this as a maximum capacity as a 60, because we do see that minimum 25 instances are working at any moment of time, but we are keeping 60 as a maximum for one of the banking website that is in US, that is equivalent to Paytm in India. So for them we are keeping it 60 because their desired capacity is 25. But if you are asking for direct how much how as a standard how much that figure should be, there is no direct answer. This should be on base load, but ideally if your desired capacity is 5, the maximum you can give 10 to 12, just double it.
Ritesh, so all the banking organizations are using this API gateway for the security purpose.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
All the banking organization will be using API gateway, right, for the security reasons.
No. Security API gateway is not for the security. API gateway is just you can say it's one of the feature is security, but not only for the security purpose. When you talk about there is no hacker can enter in your EC2 instance, and EC2 plays VPC, network security, network access layer, private subnet, public subnet, okay, outbound roles, inbound roles, that plays very important role setting the security of your EC2 or ELB or your infrastructure. That API gateway can only help in limiting your queries data, like API data. Like Sagar said, we need to restrict how many requests one user is doing or one system is doing, or one attacker is doing some kind of malicious attack on the system. We need to blacklist that IP. Using that API gateway feature, we can do it, but that is the case when you are using the API gateway. But if you don't have the API gateway, if you're just using your web application on the EC2, then you need to rely more on the VPC part. You are with me?
Yes, Ritesh.
Yep.
I think in 2 hours there are a lot of topics and a lot of things you covered. So at the end of session, can we spend 5 minutes what we learn? Because I put some points and also uh, what are things earlier covered? Because like I think this is the sixth session or seventh session. I don't know exact number right now, but I joined like a 4 or 5 session. But if we can, so I think today you started with auto scaling. So if we can summarize in last 4 or 5 minutes, so that will be really helpful.
Okay. Auto scaling is still, I have lot to discuss that
And
I
all,
can, yeah, I think we can discuss this tomorrow.
yeah, and also like you suggested, like if anybody is preparing for interview questions, so what I will do, like I will see on auto scaling what are the top 10 question asked. So, and as
So
a group we can discuss.
if you go with this, because if you just find on the internet, they will give you very basic stuff.
Mhm.
But this is the stuff I am giving you basis on my experience. I have learned from the projects and giving the interviews
Yeah.
and from the certifications also. If
Yeah.
you asking this question, there will be no website who is giving that question. Can we add instances in auto scaling group which is in stop or terminate state? Answer would be no. Only running instances can be added. Can
So,
single instance be a part of another auto scaling group? No. There will be a 101 mapping between scaling group and EC2 instance.
and where I can get this PPT, like, is there any,
I'll share that. I'll share that.
okay.
Over the group, I will share that.
Okay.
Ritesh, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
My question is like whenever we are apply for like job, so we can apply for a internship.
When we are applying for job, we can also apply for internship. This is your question,
Internship
right?
in internship in
Yeah.
AWS.
No, no, you can apply for internship, but the point is most of the time, what industry is expecting some sort of experience. I never seen an opportunity, especially for the AWS or Azure, because what I see till the time that if you know any of the programming language, be it if you know the server administration part, or you know Terraform, you know Chef, you know any DevOps tool, you know any C Sharp, DynamoDB, or SQL Server, anything. Company will train you on the AWS part, and that can be your AWS training part. But not specifically, companies are choosing anybody for the cloud trainings only.
Thank you.
But I would also say you that don't just go for the training part or internship part. Whatever I am delivering, if you spend 1 hour on the daily basis on the learning, I am sure we will get a lot of questions. I can prepare you for the at least for the 1 year of interview, 1 year of the experience. If you do the project very, very carefully, you can learn 1 year of experience from my project.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Or this is not complete topic. We will
So
discuss
this,
again tomorrow on this part.
just one request.
Yeah, please.
So if anyone attends interview with any of the companies, right, if they post any questions, that will be great.
Mhm. Yes, if you are attending any interview, you can just club all the questions in a notepad and give it to me. If I don't know the answer, I will look at that and let you know. And then probably as a group, we can discuss on the interviews. Got it?
Yeah, sure.
I'm not getting good vibes today. Did you follow the whole of the session, or did I cover so many things? I'm not sure.
I think in your 2 hour session, we need to spend 4 hours to reading and trying
At
ourselves
least
because, yeah,
because
because
I
you do
have
very
made this.
quickly.
Yeah,
You know
I
the
have
options
made
where
this
to go,
video.
what to click, and now I'm struggling to click what option is selected.
No, because this is very hard to understand.
Yeah, that
I
is the
think
reason I'm.
I think you have that hands-on experience working on the configuration and creating instances and all. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but that trust me, when I was new to the even if I am new to the AWS still, but I say that every 3 6 months AWS do change the interface
Mhm.
or eliminate one of the service. Now they call it EC2 is a traditional way of doing the things,
Mhm.
because most of the time we are working with EBS, if you know it.
So whenever like two machine is open like once a time, so how can I figure out this is machine one, this is machine two, like a server?
Can you repeat your question?
So I say whenever like open two instances at the same time. So how I know the like which one is the first machine or which one is the second
Better
machine,
to go with
second
the
server.
IP, or you can give the name also. Better to go with the IP case. Otherwise, you can do one thing. You can just click on this instance, see this option, and just click on this and type the name web server 1. Save it. So now you can recognize
Oh
this is web server 1
yeah, thank you,
and
thank you, thank you,
this is web server 2.
thank you. Yeah.
So Ritesh,
AWS has lot of things.
so
Yes,
most
please.
of the time, like our application works fine on one server, and sometimes second server not responding or giving error. So how we can find that kind of scenario? Say web server one, all the requests user is getting, those are processing properly, but web server two, somehow there is some issues going on, and it is not able to connect to database, or there is a firewall or network drop or whatever reason.
Yeah.
So
For
how
that
we can
you
see the
have the
login
option
or
of,
something?
yeah, logging is very best, but I would go with the monitoring.
Mhm.
Then you can monitor two types of thing in the
Mhm.
AWS. If you go with the logging, there are two types of logging. One is basic monitoring. One is detailed monitoring. So this is the point. This is very basic. CPU utilization, status check, status field, everything is here. Disk write operations, disk write. But to be frank, I never took lot of help from this graph. Basically, whenever load is coming in thousands and hundreds, you will get to know from this circle or line basically. So in that case, better to go with the monitoring part, or you can enable the detailed monitoring. So what's the difference? This is happening on the 5 minute interval, and this is happening 1 minute by default. But this is configurable. You can also do 40 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, whatever you want. But answer to your question, how you will get to know which instance is performing well? My web server one is giving very fast request, or there can be challenge with IaaS, there can be challenge with HTTPD, there can be challenge with web server, there can be challenge with app pool, there can be a challenge that only one instance, one EC2 instance is creating the problem. The rest all are working fine. In that case, you have the option to go with the logging and understand where that pause is coming. Got
Okay.
it?
Yeah. And I got some notes. Just I want to share. I am on the same page or not. And if we like, I just want to in 1 minute I will summarize what I got. And starting from I think what session I attended.
Mhm.
It was started with the AWS basics and Lambda and SQSQ and DynamoDB. So if you can write it down, so that also helped me to track. Okay, I have read those topic or not. I will go more
No,
detail.
no, that is not going to help you. What I can
Notepad
do
in
for
a
you?
notepad, I just put a couple of
No, no,
topics
no,
like.
no, no. Don't go with that approach. I
Hmm,
will give you this PPT.
okay.
Let me give you.
If you go through the syllabus, right, it will be more detailed.
Yeah, let me share with you. Can you see me? I have added more features in this part.
Okay.
This is now where is column. Let me stop the recording.